Hi, Houston Skyline. Welcome to Teaching Moment Thursday. Today I'm going to be talking about serving, and specifically within that, I will be focusing on simplicity being key to an effective serve. So, the three keys to a flean serve, and flean is a phrase that we've kind of incorporated into our gym from Jamie Morrison. Flean is a combination of the two words flat and clean. Flat meaning it is low to the top of the tape, clean meaning that it floats through the air and doesn't have any spin on it. So those three keys, the first one is a leading toss, and that means just that your toss is out in front of you and you are stepping into the ball. Second thing being having a solid contact, which will make the ball float through the air. And the third thing is a follow through. That's different than hitting follow through, but I will touch on that as we get to it. So we're going to break down each of these and show some clips and what that means put into action. So the first thing would be a leading toss, and this is probably one of the most important parts of your serve, regardless of if you're doing a standing float, a jump float, or a jump topspin serve. So we're going to first show the leading toss of a jump float serve. So this view is from the end line. You'll be able to tell here that Dylan starts really far back and then finishes pretty significantly far into the court. As long as she's taking off and jumping before the end line, she will not be called on a foot fault, but that just goes to show how much her toss is in front of her. So she does a really good job there. Okay, here's a little bit more of a sideline view. So you can really tell how far in front this toss is. Emily does a really good job. It's just more of a lift. It's not so much a super high toss. It's a really consistent, easy to repeat lift, kind of right in front of her over her hitting shoulder. Here's a standing float. You can tell here that Maddie does a really good job of tossing in front and stepping into it and making really good hand contact. Here's it again. Okay, it's not so much in front of her that she's going to football, but it's just enough that when she takes that step with her right foot, it is directly inside of that foot if she were to let the ball drop and not hit it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is having a solid contact. Okay, this just means that your wrist will not move. Okay, you kind of put a pop on the ball a little bit, which will make the ball float. So we want to make sure that we have full hand contact through the center of the ball. Some things that we like to say are you're kind of high-fiving the ball, just making sure that it is solid. Okay, so here are some clips of that. You can see the trajectory of the ball. So here Dylan is serving to zone 3, pretty much straight ahead. So she's facing that way, and the ball is traveling on a solid line directly across the court. She's not doing anything crazy with her wrist. She's just turning and facing and sending that ball where she wants it to go by keeping her wrist nice and solid all the way through. Okay, here's another one. You can see here how solid her wrist is, especially right after she makes contact with the ball. You can see here that Maddie's hand is still facing, her palm is kind of still facing where that ball goes. So she did a really good job. You can see the path of the ball is nice and clean. It's not spinning, and the ball has a really nice float to it. Okay, here's another one. I think this one's going to zone 7. Yep. Okay, so here Dylan is still serving from left back, but she does a really good job of just turning and facing and setting the ball same exact line. Okay, we're just turning a little bit. So she's facing zone 7 and she's able to serve there. It's nice and clean off the left shoulder of this passer, and then it gets the best of her and Dylan wins and gets an ace. Okay, so the last thing we're going to talk about is the follow through. And when I say follow through, I want to emphasize that I don't mean like we do when we're hitting. Okay, we're not snapping our wrist and following all the way through past our pocket. We just want to make sure that this kind of protects your shoulder. You're kind of pulling the ball down to make it hopefully drop for the other team, but your wrist is not moving. And make sure that everyone knows that your wrist is not moving. You're just kind of following through your serve a little bit. So Brooklyn does a really good job here. You can kind of see her hand stays the entire time. She finishes about down at her thigh, but her wrist does not snap. It doesn't do anything crazy. It's just that little bit to protect her shoulder and not stop that arm swing. Okay, here's another one. You can see here, it's just after you contact the ball, then obviously you can see Maddie's wrist breaks, but this is completely after contact as she's just lowering her hand. But she does a really good job here of following through the end of that contact on the ball. Okay, we're going to talk a little bit about some things to work on at home. So this is a really good time to either refine if you already are doing a jump float or to develop and kind of create your footwork pattern for your jump float serve. So we're going to talk about two different common approaches, and that way you can try both. There's only a slight difference. It's still the same approach. So for right-handers, we're still doing left, right, left. It's just kind of a different speed that you can take. The biggest thing here is just that it is simple and repeatable, and you're doing the same thing every single time. So that way you can have a consistent toss, a consistent um, contact, and consistent footwork behind the ball. Okay, so first we're going to show a kind of more traditional three-step approach. Okay, so it's very typical, left, right, left, left, right, left. You can see Claire here. It's not super fast. She does the same exact thing every time she serves. She happens to get an ace here because she served nice and low. I clipped the tape, caught the other team off guard, but pay attention to her footwork. Okay, left, right, left. Okay, the biggest thing here that we'll work on in a little bit, we'll show you guys some, just a list of some things to try at home. But the biggest thing is with jump float is when to toss. You basically toss right after your first step. So you just kind of have to play with the timing of that, and it's all about rhythm. So the next one I kind of call it more of a step hop. So Dylan here does more of a step hop, and it's not a big dramatic difference. It's just a little bit of a difference in the speed of her last two steps. So she's still going left, right, left, but it's a little bit more of a step, and that right, left are a lot closer together. So this is just what works for her. In my college career, I changed my footwork of my serve, I think twice. And the result of my serve, I think got better as I kind of played with it a little bit. Um, but everyone's different. As long as you're doing the correct footwork in terms of left, right, left, tossing in front of you, all of that, whatever feels the best for you, is what you should go with. So here's just a progression that you can do at home. All you need is a ball and either a person to serve to or a wall. That way the ball can come back to you. But I really want to focus on breaking it down. So like I said earlier, either refining or developing your jump serve. You can always, always, always improve. So whether you're 11 or 18, there's still opportunity to get better here. Okay, so we're going to start with just 10 reps of just your footwork pattern of the jump float. So whether that's doing, trying out a footwork pattern that you haven't done before, whether that's doing the more traditional slower three-step or more of a step hop, I want you guys to try both and just kind of get into that rhythm and develop that rhythm for yourself. Okay, after that, without the ball, you're going to add a ball in. Okay, we're going to do 10 reps of your footwork pattern that we just worked on, jumping and tossing and letting the ball drop. Okay, so this will work on the timing of the toss, how high it needs to be, and how fast your footwork needs to be behind it. Okay, so just making sure we're tossing after that first step and making sure it's a leading toss out in front. Okay, after that, we're going to go into actually making contact with the ball. Okay, so if you're serving against a wall, it'd be good to maybe put a box up on the wall with tape, like we've done in a bunch of drills before. Just making sure it's realistic. It's high enough that it would be like you were serving from the end line over the net, and just kind of reiterating that focus. So now we're going to go into just a full jump float serve. Okay, I put 10 reps, but especially if you're younger and just kind of working on developing this, as many as you need. This is the time that we are at home and you're able to just rep this out. Serving is one of the most important skills in volleyball, and it's completely individual. Okay, no one is affecting you. It's just you and the ball and the court. So getting as many reps as you can at home right now would be a lot of fun if you could come back when you get back in the gym and be able to show your coach that you have a jump float now. or if you already have it, you've improved it. So really focusing on the three things that we've talked about, that leading toss, that solid contact, and that slight follow through at the end. Okay. The fourth and final thing I want you guys to do when you're at home is the full jump float serve, but adding in focusing on your pre-serve routine. Okay. Having a routine that is simple and repeatable is super important. Um, so whether that be a certain number of bounces, whether that be with one hand, with two hands, taking a really deep breath, picturing you making a successful serve. The one thing that I do not recommend ever doing or trying to train yourself to not ever do is, especially at pressure moments such as set point, maybe the first serve of the match point, anything like that, you cannot tell yourself that you can't miss. You have to be able to visualize yourself performing the skill well and not visualizing yourself failing. Serving is super, super mental. So I want you guys to take 10 really focused reps as if we are at nationals and it is match point of the gold medal match and you're up to serve. Okay. Whether you normally serve in a match or not, there could come a time that you will be under pressure when you're serving. So I really want you to focus on developing a very specific pre-serve routine that you will be able to do every single time you step back to serve. Just some final thoughts on what I just talked about. Routine. Creating a serving routine that is simple and repeatable is important. Most of serving is mental, so take a breath, do your routine, visualize yourself executing a clean serve, and let your body take care of the rest. You can see Maddie's routine here. It's really simple. She's able to do it every single time she serves. And chances are she'll execute a good serve if she's doing this routine every single time. Okay, so I hope y'all get some reps at home. You're staying in there. If you have any questions about anything that I've talked about or just your serve, or if you want me to kind of talk through different footwork patterns or whether or not your serve is what it should look like, feel free to shoot me an email or send me a text. I'll be happy to work with you, whether that's via Zoom or anything like that. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. We hope to see you back in the gym whenever we can. So thanks.